Hello everyone, Rochelle White. You are the early bird today. The very first person, the quickest, the fastest, Adelaja. Bless you. Patty Pat. Adelaja, I've been seeing you a lot here, but I've never spoken to you. I don't know much about you. I think we need to find a way of talking one day. Or maybe you need to be featured on Kingdom Fruits. Of course, that's if you are doing anything tangible. I hope you are doing something tangible with the teachings you've been receiving. If you are doing something tangible, let's feature you. I personally would like to know more about you. So that is Adeleke, because he's been quite constant here. So it's good to know what he's doing. Yeah, so who are the people here? We have Eric Lindu. You are one of the first ones today. Olabisi, Olaleye, Mahi, Marie Ehi, Rinde Benro, Amarashi Jere, Joyce Ero, Ayotunde Odusoya, Francois, Theophilus, Paul Good News, Adeleka Adeniga Grace, Oriyomi, Yakubu Farida, Shao Smith, Maya, Ufuoma, Emma Wasfi, Daniela Senga. Beautiful, beautiful people. Who did I miss? Nike Okpanoga. That lady should be my Jebu people, either her or her husband. I could tell from the name. Omonike, Wellington Gushu, Edwin, Amini. I've been looking for you, Edwin. I can't get you for 2 days now. You have disappeared. I know you have been looking for me too, but I've been looking for you, for sure. Paul Oriade, Ayodeji Solomon. Well, as you are coming in, will you please be kind enough to go share the message with your friends? I have a surprise for all of you people today. It is Kate that has prepared this surprise for all of us. So quickly go and share before I play this, display to you the surprise. Quickly go share this thing with somebody, and then it will be more interesting that way. So please go and check on your playlist. I mean your share video. Look under your video and see the share button. Press that share button. Invite the people you really care about, or invite them one by one, and then I'm going to have a little surprise for all of us today. I'm going to do this a couple of times today, maybe. We're doing that all the time now. Okay, so go share the link. Thank you, Theophilus has shared it. Only Theophilus has shared it with his friends. Ooh, wow. Let's go share with all our friends. Okay, Oriyomi too has done it, but not too many people have shared it publicly. Only 2 people have shared publicly. I'm talking publicly now. I'm not saying you didn't share on your page, but I'm talking sharing it with your friends. With your friends, I think. Yeah, with your friends. Yeah, so I have a surprise for you. If you have not shared the link yet, I'm sorry. Your friends will miss it. And then they are going to say, why didn't you share that? Why didn't you share it? Why didn't you call me on time? I didn't want to miss this. So I don't want you people to miss it. I was thinking we should hit 100 before I do this little surprise for all of you. Not a big deal, but pleasant surprise, I think, I hope. For the platform, for us, for all of us, for our family. So I think this should be something quite pleasant to all of you. So 2 more people to hit, then I'm going to go to my surprise for you. Just 2 more people to hit, 2 more people to go. Oh, now we are less. Now we are ready, yes. I think you might need to hold it. You might need to hold it. Yeah, you might need to hold it. No, hold it up to yourself. Sit down, sit down. Yeah, that way. Yeah. Let me show them the surprise here. Let me show them. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Can you people see it? Now, let's do it again because you were not ready before, right? You didn't know what to expect. So let's see it another way. Huh? Better this way? It's not good? Oh, you're cutting on my hand. It's not possible. Okay. Oh. Well, that's about that, you know. I think we'll do it a few times. That's like advert break, or what do you call it? Advert break, or yes. What do you call it? Break? Advert?
Yes, break.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing this kind of advertisement break every day. So I'm going to, you know, remind me to do a few times of this. I think we're going to be doing that. Is that a good idea? It's a trailer, yeah. It is Kate Caronis, my assistant. The brilliant Kate, she's the one who came up with this idea to be doing whatever I call it, a trailer, yeah, a trailer. So I think we should be doing a trailer like that for all our series. That's a good idea. I think also, Kate, I mean, you girls, we also need to do a trailer like that for Movement Against Deception. Okay. Yeah, so we need to do that. Interlude, yeah, that's break, yeah. The break is called interlude, yes. Interlude. We're going to be doing interlude with this kind of thing. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Interval in trailer, right? Interval trailer or interlude. Good idea. Everybody seems to like it. Everybody. So let's give a round of applause to Kate. That is Kate doing that. Yeah. Everybody seems to be happy about it. Little joy. You don't need too many things to be happy in life. You don't need too many things to be happy in life. Just little things make you happy. You see, Pastor Sandey is happy. Did I get $1 million? No, I don't need it. I just need Kate to do some wonders like that. That's all. You know, did I just win a jackpot? No. Just somebody doing their job. Just somebody doing their job without being told. You see, the problem with people like me as a leader is that I always have to tell everybody what to do, and that is frustrating for any leader. But when one of your subordinates, an assistant, do things not because you've told them to do it, but because they think, they use their mind. Oh, what a joy! It is Hitler that says, what a joy it is for leaders not to think. But for me, I mean, what a joy it is for masses, for people not to think. What a joy it is that people don't think. What he said actually is that what a joy it is for leaders that people don't think. So that is Hitler who said that. What a joy it is. What a great joy it is What a great joy it is for leaders that masses don't think. But for me, it's a big tragedy that masses don't think. I think that is satanic spirit that makes Hitler to say that, and a lot of leaders who think like that, I think it's demonic to be happy that people don't think. But in my own case, it's a tragedy for me that people don't think. It's not a joy that people don't think. It's a tragedy that people don't think. And when I get somebody who think, or once in a while, like Kate, once in a while, once in a while she wakes up. Once in a while she wakes up. Once in a while she wakes up. So that's a big jackpot for me. That's a big joy for me. Why? Because some people never wake up. Some people never wake up. Some people are perpetually sleeping. They never ever wake up. So when somebody wakes up like that, like Kate, it brings me a lot of joy. You see the kid, the baby, the child come out of Pastor Sunday. Pastor Sunday begins to be on the seventh heaven like a child, isn't it? Yeah. I really need people to think around me. I need people to think. That's why I did that series. I need people to think. I didn't just do the series for you guys. I did for myself too, because I want people around me to begin to think, you see. When I'm teaching you, I'm also thinking about myself, you see. I want to get something from it, because I want people surround me to begin to think, you see. Yeah. Thinking is a good thing. Thinking is a good thing. I've had somebody said that the reason why people don't think is that it's a difficult thing to do. I said, no! Who says that? I know it's a great guy who said it. It's Henry Ford who said that, actually. Henry Ford said it, that it's the most difficult thing to do, to think. I said, wow, who said? I don't know why Henry Ford said that, but for me, it's the greatest pleasure to think. That's why I'm teaching people to think. The greatest pleasure to think, and the easiest thing to do in the world to think. So I really want you people on DSA family to join the company of the thinking nation, of the thinking people. We are a thinking nation. We are a thinking nation. Yeah, we are a thinking nation. So Kate, voila. High five to you, Kate. Voila. She's not here. She's gone home. She's not here. She stays half of the week in my house, and half of the week she goes to help her mother. She stays in her own family half of the week, so it's okay. Somebody is writing something there. Do not keyboard. Wow, keyboard. Hello, DSA. I wrote a short song of freedom which I'm releasing this week. Wow. It will be good for accompanying the break. Ooh, oh, okay. Let me see it. Once you release it, is there any way we could support you? You want us to support you anyhow? You want us to come and put some like there? Or you want us to come and buy it? What do you want us to do? You know, whenever you release it, let us know. Let's know how we could support you. All right, so this week, the plague of silence. But the topic of today, I don't know what topic. They didn't ask me for the topic. Did you ask me for the topic? Oh yeah, we already had the announcement. So I already had the announcement. The topic of today is the culture of silence equals culture of evil. The culture of silence equals the culture of evil. The culture of silence equals the culture of evil. The culture of silence equals the culture of evil. The culture of silence is the same thing as the culture of evil. So the culture of silence equals the culture of evil. Now, as I was preparing for this message last night, I was actually doing the preparation last night. God inspired upon my heart that He would like me to take this message not just to the out of the realm of the church or the society. And I felt that God was telling me that the culture and the plague of silence is not just in relations to the culture or to the church, but that the plague of silence is killing the homes and the family as well. So God told me that today's message, that I must address the plague of silence in relations to how that is killing the home, the family, and that the plague of silence is also a plague, the same horrible plague it is for the society, the same evil that silence brings to society is the same evil silence brings to the homes and to the families. And so today, the culture of silence equals the culture of evil, means that anybody that propagates the culture of silence, that is to say, don't talk, put it under, don't expose it, don't reveal it, don't talk about it. And especially if that is not just saying, it's because there are moments when the Bible says that love covers the multitude of sins, right? That's totally different, because love is when you want to salvage and help somebody, and because of what they have done to hurt you, you want, for example, let me give you an example how this happens, how this works. Love covers multitude of evil. Let's say your husband is abusive, and because this is what God really showed me while I was preparing for this. It showed me a family where a husband has been abusive, not necessarily physical, but just morally and any form of abuse in the family, and says that this culture of silence is plaguing a lot of homes, that we must raise our voice against it. Now, the fact that I say that doesn't mean that we are against the individual who did the evil. I don't know if you get it. For example, let's say the husband is wicked and abusive to you as a husband, as a wife, and you are the wife. Who wants to be the example? You want them to, you don't want them to complain about you, or you don't care? Okay, no, you can come here. Okay, let's say this is the wife. My wife is the wife, and you have a husband, and your husband is being abusive towards you. So, but you love him and you want to cover, and you said, but Pastor, but the Bible says that love covers a multitude of sin. I don't want him to go to jail. I don't want to expose him. I don't want him, to really be disgraced. In that term, in that sense, you want to apply the principle of love that covers the multitude of sin. I don't want him to be destroyed. I don't want his life to be ruined. But what do I do then? How do I apply this principle that the culture of silence is the culture of evil? So, is it evil or is it love? So there is a controversy here. Is that evil? If I go ahead and expose him, is that evil or is that love? Or if I cover for him and I don't do anything, is that evil or is that love? So let me now explain to you how this works. So let's say your husband is abusive towards you. What should you do? I would like to answer this question and say, if you cover for him as an individual so that it will not be destroyed, and you could see that he has a weakness and you really want to protect him as an individual, that is love. But if you go ahead and cover for him to the extent that you actually cover the abuse and you put it under and you don't do anything against the abuse or about the abuse, then that is evil right there. So it's a thin line between between love and evil. So the love is that you don't want to expose him. You don't want to destroy him. So you say, okay, I will not report him to the police. Or I will not press a charge against him. Or I will still, maintain relationship with him. But that is only as long as him personally. Why are you hiding? Put your face here. So, but what you need to come a bit here. Yeah. Yes, that's what you need to do. But what happens is, if you keep on covering and actually hiding the fact that evil happened, then you are a partaker of evil. So what I mean is that, so what is the right thing to do? The right thing to do will be for you to say, I love you. I am not going to put up with this. And pack your load and leave. If you pack your load and leave, even though you left, but you still love him in your heart, you are not experiencing any hatred towards him. That is love. And that is loving the truth above being sentimental. So that means you are not a partaker of evil. That means you are fighting against the plague of silence. Now, another thing you should do to go ahead beyond that is, even though you didn't press charge against him, but you should never keep quiet about it. You should still go ahead and talk against abuse and violence in the family. You should go ahead and talk against what they call it, domestic abuse. But when you talk about against domestic abuse, if you love him, love says don't mention his name. Love says don't expose him. But not to be an accomplice also says you must expose this problem itself, the evil. The evil itself must be exposed. Even though you are not exposing him, but you are exposing the evil. I don't know if you get it. Yeah. You following me? Yes. So there are two areas here. It's like it's very tough. And a lot of women don't know how to cope with this. A lot of women actually go in and sit in that family and remain in that home. Then they are saying, but we are married, but we are husband and wife, but I love him, but I don't want him to be exposed. But that way, they go from love to evil. They go from love to just committing evil right there. Because they have remained quiet in the face of evil. And their silence means consent. So they have actually approved of evil. They have actually not just approved of evil, they have actually become a culprit in evil. They have actually become guilty of that same evil. So what I'm saying is that the fact that you do something about it doesn't mean that you don't love. Let me even go further than that. Now, let's say that your husband refuses to let you go. And say that you will not leave my house. I am your husband. Yeah, or even despite the fact that you are trying to stop that evil, but is becoming aggressive towards you, or trying to limit you and trying to control you, then love says that you should not just don't keep quiet, even though you love him. If you truly love him, if his level of aggression and his level of abuse is going from the minimum level to the next level of aggression, and you are seeing that aggression that is increasing, is actually pressing charge against you, he's actually trying to suppress you or to subdue you, so he's not stopping. So whatever action you have taken, he has not stopped. And maybe it's misunderstanding your love for weakness. So when he is thinking that you refuse to, you didn't go report me, oh, she will never report me, and so I'm becoming more aggressive, what do you then do? What you now do is you go to the police station and report him. You must go to the police station and report him. Now, but I love him, but I don't wish any bad thing to happen to him. I love him, but that is the best demonstration of your love. That is the best demonstration of your love, that you go and report him. Because by reporting him that way, you have not just saved your own life, but you have actually saved his own life as well. You have not just protected yourself legally, but you have protected him too. So then you say, what about if they lock him up? Locking him up might be the best thing that you have done. Let me tell you, let me use another example. Let's say you are I know people right now, you are a mother. I know mothers like this in the UK right now as we are talking. Even maybe there are some mothers like this on this platform right now. But I know mothers in the UK, in the US. In fact, even in my own church here right now in Ukraine. I know mothers like this. What do they do? Mothers have a big problem dealing with their adolescent children or with their, boys that misbehave. Okay, let me give you a very practical example that is happening right now. A mother notices that the son started stealing from the house. So he will steal from the mother. The mother will say, oh, don't tell your dad, don't tell your dad. I love you. That is love. No problem, I agree. It is because of the love of the mother, that is love. She loves him and she doesn't want, because if your father hears, he's going to beat you, he's going to make you hurt, he's going to, really punish you, or it's going to get bad. Okay. That's okay for the first time. But it happened the second time. Maybe that is still love. Then it happened the third time. And you are saying, okay, it's between me and you. We will not tell mommy, daddy. That is now becoming a problem. That is now becoming an accomplice a little bit. Then it happened the third time, and you still didn't tell the father. Is that, and then now what happens is, you know what it does the next time? It goes and steals from the father. So you don't need to tell the father. It became a big news. Who stole it? You stole my money. Yes. Then the father becomes aggressive. And the father begins to make noise and say, you know that your son has been doing this. And now he has stolen my... No, the father begins to not just be aggressive against the child. The father now begins to criticize and attack not just the child, but the father begins to attack the mother. So because the mother did not put a boundary and they could not tell where the difference is between love and accomplice and being an accomplice and a culprit of evil, she blew it. So now the evildoers in the eyes of the father is not just this child, but the mother as well. But let's say the father, that is one situation. The father didn't know. Okay, let me give you another scenario. This child and the father, this child didn't steal from the father. This same child didn't steal from the father. But he kept on stealing and the mother kept on hiding it. and saying, my good son, and say, I'm praying to God, I'm praying to God, I'm praying to God. That mother, she is now committing sin. Even though she's praying to God. But this is not a God's case. Oh, I'm praying to God that God will help my son stop stealing. Then she's calling him, of course, she's talking to him. Don't steal. You know, this is bad. Look what the Bible said. But she's not talking to the father. She's not raising an alarm. She's being silent. You remember the culture of silence equals the culture of evil. And you remember that when you are silent in the presence of evil, you are actually sanctioning, endorsing that evil. So even though she's praying to God, but praying to God nevertheless means you are condoning it. The fact that this is not a God thing. Even though you are praying to God, but that does not cancel your own responsibility. While you are praying to God, you must act. But when you just pray to God that God should help deliver your son and set him free from stealing, and you are not doing anything about it, and you are not speaking out, and you are not raising an alarm, you are becoming an accomplice. You know what happens? I've seen this same example 1,001 times. You know what that child does? Even when the father knows about it. Sometimes the father doesn't know about it. But sometimes, most of the time, even the father could know about it. See what happens, my wife. So instead of this, let's say the father now knows about it, but the boy keeps on behaving wayward, keeps on stealing, or keeps on going to the party and messing up or doing bad things, right? You know what this leads to? Because the father and the mother, they have just been talking to them and keeping it in the family, not talking out, not raising an alarm, not fighting it, not speaking against it, not raising an alarm. They are becoming an accomplice. Or they are becoming accomplices, two of them. Now, what later happens is that they are keeping it in the family. You know, their whole idea is that this is our whole family. We love our family. And because it's our family, we don't want disgrace. Because it's our family, we want to protect our family. We want to protect the name of our family. We want to protect our child. He's our child. Nobody will care for him if we don't. Don't let anybody know. Don't let the relatives know. Don't let the family know. Don't let the police know. Don't let anybody know. Then you know what happens? One day, this child, what the father and the mother didn't know, is that the money he had been stealing, he had actually been stealing it and using it to buy drugs. But he didn't start out with drugs. He started out with stealing the money, just stealing, and using it to buy candy or things, and then started stealing and using it to go to discotheque or to go after girls. Then one day, the police calls them. They didn't raise the alarm. They didn't want police to know. They didn't want anybody to know. But that evil itself, that is what happens with silence. When you are silent, the evil itself will expose you. You cannot fight evil through silence. You cannot, conceive evil. It's inconceivable. You cannot put it just say, okay, we'll just keep it here. It is the same evil that you are covering that will go and expose you. It is the same evil that you are covering that will go and make noise about you. So now, they didn't want the relatives to know. They didn't want the family to know. They didn't want every extended people to know. They didn't want the social council to know. They didn't want the welfare organization to know. They didn't want the police to know. Now, the police themselves are calling. Oh, we have your son here in jail. Everything is just gone awire. From didn't want anybody to know to absolutely becoming a disgrace. And now they couldn't tell the police that, oh, we knew. So you knew? Why didn't you take him to the rehab center? Why didn't you do anything about it? Why didn't you stop it? Because they did not raise an alarm. That evil could not be stopped. And that evil had just progressed. So love, therefore, is in the case that you have rebuked the child, you have covered for him one time, covered for him second time, covered for him third time. Same with husbands. And he continues, it is no more love. It is no more love for you to keep on covering for him. Because if you keep on covering for him like that, you are not loving him. You are actually accompanying him. You are actually consenting his evil. You are actually becoming a partner in evil. And that evil now will raise the alarm against you. And God, the God that you are praying to, will not protect you. And you'll be wondering, why is it that we are praying to God? We are going to night vigils. We are going to prayer houses. We are praying to God. We are going to men of God. They are praying men of God or no men of God or are not, whatever. Night prayers, no night prayer, night vigil is no more going to help. God is just going to go deaf and mute on you. I think that's what you are going to feel like. You would think God has gone deaf and mute even on you. And the reason is because God has principles. God has order. God has his way of model of thinking. And God has his principle that will not be violated just because of you. So the question I'm raising today is, how come God says love covers a multitude of sin? And then I've got to go and report my son. Because if you cover for him the first time, and he's still doing the evil, cover for him the second time, and he's still doing the evil, cover for him the third time, and he's still doing the evil, that is no more covering for him. That is no more love that covers multitude of evil. Because you already have multitude right there. And if you keep on covering for him at that point, you become an accomplice with him. And that evil is going to grow. And that evil will grow to be a volcano. And when volcano erupts, you don't conceive it. Nobody has succeeded in conceiving, and the eruption of a volcano. It's going to come out big and loud. And it's going to overwhelm you. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be much worse than you had wanted to prevent. Because when you say, oh, it's my family, it's our name, oh, what our people think about our family, you think you love your family that way? Because the eruption of that volcano will destroy that good name you've been trying to protect. Same with husbands that are abusive. Have you ever lived or stayed with an abusive husband? He has maybe slapped you or pushed you one time, and you say, oh, hey, I cannot even believe this. Can you believe it? That there are Africans in Europe, in England, or in America, where there are laws. I mean, it's one thing if this is happening to you in Africa, okay? But how come there are abusive homes, domestic violence in Christian homes in Europe, where you are protected by the law? But you know what people tell me? This happens every day. And you know what ladies tell me? Pastor, I'm just afraid for him. Oh, I don't want them to. If I go and report, if I write the application against him, if I write the report, Pastor, but they're going to put him in jail. I don't want them to put him in jail. I'm just afraid for him. But he's not afraid for himself, my dear. I'm just trying to pity him. Well, he's not pitying himself, my sister. Well, I'm just trying to protect him from him. Maybe you should let him do that. Maybe that's his own function to do. Maybe that's his own responsibility to protect himself, huh? You cannot protect somebody who doesn't want to protect himself now. There is no way you can fight, you can love him more than he loves himself. So, but these ladies actually, endure, and they keep quiet. Let me tell you the principle. So, and then they begin to quote, but the Bible says love covers multitude of sin. I agree with that. If, let's say, for example, that he is struggling with a sin in his life, maybe smoking, or he's masturbating, or he's watching pornography, but something that doesn't affect you. It just is his own life. It's just your own life. Then you could cover for him and pray for him and support him. That is something. But when he's whatever he's doing is affecting other people, like you, is abusing you, it's been abusive to you, and you are telling me love covers? Okay, when will that love covers end? When will it stop? At what point will it, when he kills you? Now, it was first of all shouting at you. You said love covers. Okay, now that one, okay, we're here. He went from shouting to screaming. You said love covers. Okay, we're here. Now, he went from screaming to humiliating you in words, to humiliating you with, morally, to dominating you, to suppressing you as a human being. That is called an abuse right there. And you say, well, I'm afraid, I don't know. And you are already at the verge of committing suicide. And you are saying you don't know. So you love him and you hate yourself. So at that point, when it is no more love covers multitude of sin. Because that multitude of sin is going to kill you. So, and you have used that principle. You have used that principle already. You already applied that principle. And it's not your problem that, he keeps on doing that. That's his own problem that he keeps on doing that. He is the one that is not changing. If you have forgiven him the first time, if you have forgiven him the second time, if you have forgiven him the third time, it is time for you to apply the second principle. And the second principle is silence in the face of evil is to be an accomplice of that evil. It means that for you to cover for the evil deed of somebody like that, it's not going to stop there. That guy is going to go from abusive relationship, abusing you, to terrorizing you. He's going to go from mouth abuse to physical abuse. Believe me. Evil never stops by itself. Evil must be resisted before it stops. Evil doesn't stop by itself. Evil must be resisted. So if you don't resist it, it will keep on growing. Let me tell you what. One of the main reasons why men all over the world think it is their right to beat a woman, to abuse a woman, to subdue a woman, to subject a woman to humiliation, is because is all permitted. The culture permitted it. Or, they are going unpenalized. It's because they are not being penalized. It's because they are not being punished for it. It's because they know they could go scot-free. It is because many of them are coming from countries and, nations where these things are not punished. And they are used to the fact that these things are not punished. The Bible says, resist the enemy and he will flee from you. Resist evil. Resist the enemy. Resist the devil. And if you don't resist evil, evil will not stop by itself. Evil doesn't stop by itself. Evil will keep on multiplying, progressing until it dominates you. And whatever you tolerate, you are actually asking for it to dominate you. You need to resist evil. The Bible says resist the devil, resist the enemy, resist Satan, resist evil, resist Satan, and it will flee from you. If you don't resist it, it doesn't stop by itself. It's going to dominate you. So what I saw when I was preparing this message, God spoke to me, because the last time, yesterday, when I spoke about this subject, I was just addressing the church situation and national situation. But God spoke to me, I want you to address family and homes. I said, okay. With silence? He said, yes. That is God spoke to me. That is one of the, in fact, I saw a picture in my mind when God was speaking to me about addressing this plague of silence. He said, the plague of silence is biggest in homes than in the society. If the plague of silence is only prominent in the society because it had first of all been allowed. It had first been allowed. It has first been permitted in the homes and in families. And God told me that if you know the amount of people, this is what God just spoke to me. If you were to know the amount of families, the amount of homes where abuses are taking place, it doesn't matter what number are being reported. Normally, they only report the extreme cases. That's what came to my heart, what I saw in the spirit. That it is, in fact, the abuse. In fact, God even told me that all domestic abuse, all of them could stop. At least it could be reduced to the bare minimum. It could be reduced like 90%. All cases of domestic abuse. But it's going to be reduced only when everyone that comes across it at all, in any form of relation, begins to raise their voice. So it is only the culture of not compromise that will stop the culture of abuse. The culture of abuse will not stop. Abuse won't stop by itself. Evil won't stop by itself. So in this domestic abuse and the domestic violence that people talk about, it is spreading, it is growing, and it's going to grow more and more. And the reason is because women are intimidated, and even because churches go, and I saw this also when I was preparing for this. God showed me that even churches are spreading, not this thing I'm saying churches are spreading. Churches are rather spreading the culture of silence. That churches are telling people to keep quiet. That churches are telling people to cover. Churches are telling people to endure. Churches are telling people to be quiet. Churches are telling people to be patient. Churches are telling people to be, to just put it under, to leave it alone, not to touch it, not to raise any alarm, not to raise any voice, not to say anything. And because this is the prominent, the position of the society and the position of the church, we are actually abating evil. We are the ones abating evil. We are the ones actually empowering evil. When we are quiet about evil, when we are quiet about the progression and the multiplication, the increase of evil, we are actually the ones fueling it. We are fueling the evil of domestic violence. And it's still the same thing with children. In the same thing, all kind of silence. I want you to challenge yourself and to look around your life and your society and your church and your own life. What are the areas of life where people have told you you've got to be silent? And it's not just enough for you to just pack your load and leave. That way you only saved your skin. But you have not been godly enough. You are not being godly. Being godly means actually that you save your life, but you go ahead and speak about it. Because what the Lord showed me when He was showing me this thing about the homes, how the plague of silence is killing homes, is that because everybody that is affected or that has ever been affected by the issues of domestic violence, some of them keep quiet so that people will never even know that they suffer from it before. But if everybody will not just go and report to police, that's not even enough. But we'll start a campaign speaking against it publicly and boldly. If every rape victim will speak against it, you don't necessarily even need to say that you are raped. You don't even necessarily need to associate yourself with it. Even if you are a victim of domestic violence and you are still not healed to the end and you are intimidated and you are ashamed, and you don't need to say I am the one or I was, or you don't want to expose your husband because you love him. Okay, love him. You don't need to talk about your own home, but tell people, like from the third party, that I know people have this problem or there are problems like this. I have seen this. People suffer. Become a campaigner. That is how evil will stop. That is how evil should be stopped. Even if evil are happening, evil like this are happening in your home or in your family, Or you don't need to expose your family because you, oh, I love my family. I don't know what they will think. I don't want them to say, okay, don't mention your family. Don't mention your husband. Don't mention that you are even a participant or a partaker of it. Just, fight evil itself. Fight the evil, the occurrence itself, the sin. You don't need to associate yourself. But so the Lord showed me that if everyone who has experienced this kind of thing actually begins to speak against them and begin to expose them and begin to champion a campaign or an article or a Facebook page or video or do interview with other people, who just everybody begins to reveal and expose and talk about this, that actually we could reduce the issues, many issues like domestic violence, we could reduce to bare minimum. Then the issues of rape, there are different kind of rapes, but the rape of, the statistics in the world now says one in every third woman has been raped before. 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3 women has been raped. And statistics, the ones that really reported it, is like 10%. But mainly they report in the Western world. But all over the world, people don't even report. But that is going to stop only through the culture of speaking out against evil. Now, apart from that kind of rape, there is also all kinds of rape. I just discovered recently, there was this lady who came to see me recently, and she revealed to me another aspect of rape. Another aspect of rape is, and I didn't even know this, but this lady convinced me and showed me by an example. I do different examples that she knows, and it happened to her, that there is another form of rape that is even more silent that we don't know about. It is the rape when young girls are being abused and raped by relatives in the home, or in the family home, or in the relative home, rape among the relatives, rape among the relatives, things like that happen. For example, in her own case, she was a student in high school or primary school, and they sent her to her uncle, who doesn't go to her uncle for holidays. Every kid wants to go for holidays, and then they send you with another kid, so you go to your relatives for holidays. And your uncle, not the small uncle in the house, or the husband of the house, the big man that is supposed to be the landlord, is raping a 5-year-old girl, 7-year-old girl, because she cannot talk. She doesn't. In fact, this girl, I think she was 8 or 9. She didn't even know what happened. She didn't even know what that was. It was only later on she got to know that, because she just didn't even know how to describe it. She didn't even know the word for sex. And I personally know that is true, because my son was 11 when I tried to talk to him about sex the first time. And I told him, Perez, sex, what is sex? Can you tell me what sex is? Have you heard of sex before? I said, yeah, I had it. He said, what is it? He said, I don't know, but the way people talk about it, it's like it's inside you somewhere. It should be in your tummy somewhere. He's 11 and was saying sex. So I talk less of a girl that is 9, 7. She doesn't even know what sex is. She doesn't know what was that. What just happened? What is that? So a lot of rape of such are really going on. And then when she eventually told, and other people, when they tell their mothers normally, their mothers, okay, don't tell Papa, don't let Papa know, don't let anybody know. Okay, no problem. Oh, we don't want to spoil the relationship with the relatives, or with our relatives, or our uncle. So this is like family incest. Is it incest? It's called? Yeah, it's like incest. Yeah, almost incest, because incest is more like blood connected, but like parents and things. But this is like rape. So I heard that a lot of this kind of rape happens, but they are also growing mainly because of silence. Another form of rape that is also prominent, that people in the developed world might not know about, but that the West has begun to raise alarm on, is the rape that happens within the family. Now I've come to realize it now more. And in fact, when I was having retreat, I used to do retreat seminars or retreat for HMT for men in my own church. This was, but if all these men themselves were telling me about their own relationship with their wives, and they didn't even know that would qualify for sex. I mean, for rape. Okay, for example, one guy was telling me, and I had to tell him that that's wrong. This is a guy that comes to church. You know, a lot of things happen in the name of family. People think it's family. No, since you are my wife. Okay, for example, let me tell you one instance that one guy told me about. He said, I don't know what's wrong with he was complaining actually. I don't know what's wrong with my wife. So he was asking me a question, how to fix this problem. What's your problem? My wife, sometimes because I'm watching television after work, I'm tired, I'm watching TV, I ate, I need to watch TV first. But she goes to the bedroom that time. Or, you know, she says she's tired, she goes to sleep. Or you know, I'm still not ready for bed. Maybe I'm studying on internet. So by the time I'm ready to go to bed, I come to the bedroom to her and she's sleeping. So I said, so how do you resolve that? I try to wake her up, but she's sleeping. So what we have resolved, the way we have resolved this is this. Listen to this, you will not believe this. Whenever I go, I'm ready. I just go there, open her leg, and do what I need to do, and that's all. That's the way I've been satisfying myself. I go there, she's sleeping. I go there, open her legs, and do what I need to do. And he is complaining against her that she is the one not waking up. So, but she has also gotten used to, no, not gotten used to. I don't think a woman will ever get used to. I think, you know, so in the name of marriage, because she is thinking, because I got to speak to her later on, and she is telling me, you know, they have taught them in the church. You cannot refuse your husband. I'm sorry, guys. So the problem is that in the church, a lot of pastors only emphasize the fact that if you're a woman and you are married, and you cannot refuse your husband. So under that teaching or that doctrine that you cannot refuse your husband, women suffer a lot of atrocities against themselves. A lot of women suffer a lot of atrocities. Oh, sorry, you can go. So when I was talking to this woman eventually, that was our own excuse and our own explanation. That we've been taught that, you know, that you never refuse your husband. And so, you know, she said, I just lie there. Just lie there. Let him do whatever he wants to do. But I said, don't you feel used after that? Don't you feel used? Don't you feel that you are being used? Or don't you feel, she said, I feel terrible. I hate myself. I feel terrible. And then other women have told me 1,001 times that I feel like I'm a street girl. I feel like I'm a street girl. I feel like, I mean, he only comes to, it's as if he has bought me. As if He only comes to do what he needs to do and just goes about his own business. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even get to open the scriptures. I have a scripture here. I have some quotation here, but I couldn't kind of get into it today. But anyway, what I would like to tell men today is that your wife, she's not just an object, you know. You could do that with a machine. You could do that with a sex object, with an object, but not with a human being. Because a human being has feelings. A human being has feelings, emotions. And because she has feeling and emotion, she also has will. Will. She's a human being, human. So our consent is very important. Without our consent, it's actually like a rape. It's as good as a rape. Without permission, without our willingness, it's as good as violence against her. It's as good as raping her. So, you know, that argument, I don't buy into it that, you know, because she's your wife, just do anything with. I didn't say, what happened? I said, what? I think some horrible things must be happening in Africa that nobody even knows about. People have not been talking about, or churches have not been, you know, talking about, or people have not been raising. I wonder if these things have really been covered. Can you imagine how much evil is happening that way? Just because some people have been taught that they have to just swallow everything and be quiet about it all. So, what can I say now? I've actually not started my message. I will continue tomorrow. You know, we do this every day. I'm here twice a day. Today, 7 p.m. UK time, Nigerian time, and 12 noon Eastern time in America. Yeah, I'm here every day. And then earlier, 2 hours earlier, 5 p.m. Nigerian time, 5 p.m. UK time, and 2 p.m. Eastern time in America as well, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm here, and I'm going to continue this tomorrow. Like I said, I've not even opened the scripture yet. I've not even opened the scripture. And I have many scriptures here. And, you know, I think I should allow other people to speak. Carol Weiss, you want to talk? Or anybody, you want to talk? Okay, you come and deliver them. The ladies will come later. Or you, Victor, you want to be the first one? Okay. Because he was talking about you yesterday that you're always the first one. But now you are in now. So I will follow you and do this. I'll scatter the place.
Yeah, hello everyone once again. Good evening. This is Anu. Well, it's Dr. Sandey ended on a very, very emotional note because you know, coming down to the level of family, I think that is the basis of everything, because the nation that we see and the nation that we have is a product of what is going on in the home, in the family. And a nation that would be silent is a family that has developed that culture of silence. So if there is silence in the family, and that's nuclear, that's just within, let's say, 4 or 5 people, and things are going on there and no one can voice that out, how much more on a larger scale of a nation? And this plague of silence, and you know, today the culture of silence being equal to the culture of evil is so important. And for me, I'm just thinking about how many evils have prevailed in our nation because it prevailed in the family. I'm thinking about how many things are wrong with our nation right now. And it's easy it's easy for us to blame the president. It is easy for us to blame the government. But it started from the family. It started with the physical abuse from the father to the mother that the children can see, but the mother is quiet about it. They can see daddy beats mommy, but mommy is acting like everything is all right. And then they ask mommy, Mom, what is wrong? What is happening? And mommy is saying, don't worry, the Lord is here with us. The Lord will strengthen us. The Lord is in control. And all of this is what is actually eating the whole nation up like a cancer, and is making us have the nation that we have today. So if there will be any transformation in the nation, and that is the reason why I strongly believe that was the voice of God, for us to come to the family. Because if the family can be healed, the nation will be healed. If things that are going on in the family can be addressed, I am 100% sure that our nation will be transformed. If a son is going through something in his family done to him by his dad, and he can come and say, Dad, can we have a talk? Dad, can we sit down and can we have a discussion about this? You did this and I didn't quite like it. Can we have a discussion? You see, that is one of the reasons why Nigeria is in its state where it is right now, because of the kind of culture we have. We have a lot of things that have been, I don't want to use the word brainwashed, but we've been somehow configured, and we've been trained in such a way that silence is perceived as
a virtue.
As a virtue. and like what Pastor said that the church has become the what should I use?
Accomplice.
Yes, the accomplice of this. You see, I know the story of someone who happens to be close to me, who is in she is in an abusive relationship, married to a man who is abusing her. Now, the question is, why would she still be in that house, knowing fully well that this man doesn't have any iota of value for her? Because I fail to grasp, I'm not married, and I'm not married, but I fail to grasp how a man would take a woman, would go to the family of a lady and tell the family that I want to marry this woman, and get this woman to his own house and start maltreating her and treating her as a punch bag. For me, that is, I can't reason it. I'm not married yet, but I can't reason. It's, to me, it is beyond on. I can't grasp it. I'm like, who does that? That can't happen. But I tell you the truth, that woman, she dares not. She can't even go to church and say, Pastor, I want to leave this relationship. Because what they will tell her is, no, divorce is not in the plan of God. No, you have to. It is the woman. They will tell her it is the woman that would you have to persevere. No, you can't just leave your husband.
Suffering is the fruit of
they will tell you long suffering is the fruit of the Holy Spirit. So why would you leave him? No. And then the woman is entrapped there because she has children. And so there is so much, and that is the reason why, if this can be dealt in the family, I strongly believe that if this can be dealt in the family, Lord, then the nation has hope. Amen. Then the nation has hope. Because what makes up the nation, it is the families that makes up the nation. Yes. And if things can be addressed in families, if we can have I picture a Nigerian family where we would have a round table, and then the daddy is seated, the mother is seated, the children are seated, and like, let's talk about this family. Son, what don't you like about what is happening in the house? And then we can have a round table. Well, that would make a whole lot of sense. Okay, Dad, I noticed that you've been treating mommy in this kind of way, and we don't like it as the children. And then we can address issues. One thing I discovered that makes it difficult for us to actually address issues is because we cannot separate persons from issues. And that is the reason why many times it is difficult for us to address issues, because we don't want to address the person. For example, my dad is amazing, but let's just say there is this dad that sleeps around. And then the son happens to know that his dad sleeps around. Now, it is his dad. But the issue there is dad is involved in adultery. But because we've not been trained on how to separate, this is daddy, that you're my father and I respect you as my father. But daddy, this is an issue. So we need to trust this issue, and I still respect your person. Yeah. I'm not going to say that because I see that you commit adultery now, I treat you as dung. No, Dad, I respect you as my dad. But then we need to trash this issue out. Yeah. So if we can bring issues out of personalities, okay, Dad, this is the issue. Let's talk about it. But because we can't address issues, and because we can't separate issues from personalities, then we just decide to be silent. And like what Dr. Sandey said today, evil would not automatically disappear. Never. Anytime an evil occurrence starts, it starts to build, never to end. But the only way that evil can be quenched, the only way evil can stop, is when we speak against it. And what is happening in families would continually occur until people begin to speak. Imagine like you rightly said, imagine every woman who is physically abused or verbally abused goes on Facebook and starts talking about it. Even the man himself will be ashamed. He will be ashamed.
He will pack load. He will take off.
She just gets her iPad. She just gets her iPad, and then she starts saying, okay, so I want to tell you guys about what happened. This is what happened. And then even the man will be ashamed. But the reason why, and the sad thing is, the people that answers and solutions are expected from, they don't bring the solution, because people run to pastors. And then they tell their pastors that pastor, this is what is happening in my family. Do you know the reply they give to most of them? The Lord is in control. Just go and pray about it. God will touch his heart. And then the woman goes to her knees and she starts praying to God too.
And he keeps on beating her.
And he keeps on beating her. And nothing changes. And nothing changes. And that is why I believe strongly that if we start talking, if we start addressing issues. I remember this word from late Miles Monroe. He said, whatsoever you don't engage in, you can never transform. Whatsoever you run away from, whatsoever you avoid, you can't change. If you avoid it, if you do not engage it, if you run away from it, it will continually remain. But whatsoever needs to be changed must be engaged. If there will be any change at all in any strata, we must engage it. We must talk about it. We must speak about it and not stop until that changes. And would not keep our voice silent. We'll keep talking about it until the change that we want to see must come. And that is the reason why I really want to thank God for this topic. This topic is phenomenal. And if this topic is converted, I'm saying if the mothers listening to us right now, if the fathers listening to us can begin to imbibe this into their families practically and have a time where we say, okay, let's open everything. Let's not sweep anything under the carpet. No more sweeping anything under the carpet. No, we're not more doing that. But let us now have a dinner. During our dinner time, after dinner, let's talk about it. What happened today? How did I act today? Was there anything you noticed about my action today? Would you like to correct?
Anything you don't like?
Was there anything you don't like? Can you just talk to me about it? I would like to know. Wow. I'm trying to just picture that family. Men, superb. There's no fear. What I noticed is that there is no love in most families. Why? Because the Bible tells us what love is. It says, when there is love, perfect love casts out fear. But what we have in our families today, there is no love because fear is everywhere. Fear is everywhere.
Fear has replaced love.
Fear has replaced love. It's fear.
Let's hear what the woman's side will you be bold enough to talk?
Yes.
Let's hear what woman's side will say.
Hello, everyone. This topic is really heartbreaking. It's breaking because of the angle that Dr. Sandei started to speak about it, the silence and the evil that this silence have caused. And, you know, the challenges that we're facing now in society, that same challenge is because of this evil of silence. And like Dr. Sandei said, it started from the home. The church started from the home because it's the people from the home that comes to the church. So we're from the home to the church. And unfortunately, I have seen this too many times. I personally, I think Dr. Sandei was talking about me speaking with respect to relationship and, you know, marriage and abuses. I'm a single girl and I have not been married, but no matter what time anybody talks to me about marriage, the first thing I look at is their relationship. And I started from my relationship or my parents' relationship, and I see what happens in it. Culturally, traditionally, there's some errors that we as children now, that we're rejecting, but not in the right way. We're rejecting it by saying that we're not interested in marriage, we're not interested in relationship. But rather than give a solution, like find a solution, like Dr. Sandei is talking about, we're not even seeking the solution because we've seen so many atrocities that were caused by silence. And you know, in church, I start from church. In church, I've heard pastors so many times saying that we're not like our mothers. We're not like back in the days, our mothers, they endure, they do this, they do that. But now, as soon as something happens, you leave. They are the propagators of this silence of evil. Because by telling you that if something is happening, look at how Dr. Sandei just explained to us. By telling us that if something is happening, we need to endure, we need to stay in it. And if something like this type of examples that Dr. Sandei gave, is happening and you're keeping silent, you're actually creating evil for your children, for the future. And it is very clear, the examples are there, from the step of just doing it to one person and you keeping quiet because it's not you, to the step of doing it to another person and saying that because we're a family, because we're one unit, we shouldn't expose our secret to other people. Again, that's evil that you're keeping for the future. You know, I was told this story of people that a young boy in church that is not well behaved, and everyone would just say, oh, leave him, or it's so and so's child, just leave this child. And everybody would just say in the community, just leave him, leave him, leave him. And they left him to the point where even those that said this, at least it's not my children, that's his mother's problem. Later on, when he grew up, this child ended up killing the child of those people that are saying that leave him, leave him, leave him, it's not my problem. And this is the evil of silence, or saying that it's not my problem, it's not my child. So from my point of view of a single person and a relationship and keeping quiet, being told to keep quiet as a female is something that I grew up with throughout. That I'm not patient, I should be patient, I should endure, I should respect men, I should honor men, I should be all sorts of things. It's now that we should start using our brain, and I'm not saying it in the rude way, but you start using our brain. Look at and use these examples or this to change our world. Use these examples to change our world and have a voice. I hate relationship just because of this culture of silence. I feel like it's unfair. I hated marriage because of this culture of silence, that there's certain things that you can say to a man, and there's certain things that a woman should keep quiet and not do. And also the men boasting about it, that women should be this way, that women are the one that holds the house, and they hold their house by being silent. That's what they mean. They say I come from a Yoruba culture, and they would say that woman holds the house. How do you hold the house? By you keeping quiet and enduring things that are wrong. The things that we kept quiet about, our children are seeing us, the children sees us, and those things, they also keep quiet about it, and then they suffer in their lives, they suffer in their relationships. So it's really time now. We've seen the examples, we've seen the reasons why we shouldn't keep quiet, what we should do, the steps that we should take, the difference between keeping quiet as in covering the multitude of sins, and keeping quiet as in being part of evil, being the propagator or the accomplice to evil. We've seen the difference between it. We have clear examples now. So there's no excuses, no excuse to say, I am going to keep quiet, I'm just going to let this continue. Love there's no fear in love. Dr. Anu just said that there's no fear in love. So what Dr. Anu and Pastor Sandey just said in terms of there is no love, there is no care, by you loving other people more than you love yourself. We discussed about loving today in attributes that we love about Dr. Sandey earlier. If you haven't watched that, you should watch it later. But we talked about it that the love, there's no fear in love. That love gives, because love knows that I have abundance. And if you have abundance of love, then you express it by not fearing, by speaking your mind in love. And Dr. Sandey said that he hates the sin, that dislike the sin, but it's not the person that you dislike. So by you not saying something, you're actually also disliking the person, because you cannot truly love somebody by keeping quiet on something wrong that they're doing or they have done. So please, I just want to urge everybody that we really need to work on this and make sure that we speak out. We speak out as soon as something happens. We speak out in love. We speak out the truth. And even when we're doing something that is wrong as well, not just speak out against other people, but speak out when you're doing something wrong. Because as others are doing things wrong to us, we are also doing wrong things to others. And we also suppress people to keep quiet. We expect people to keep quiet when we are doing something wrong. We should not keep quiet over our own wrongdoings as well. So if you're doing something that is wrong, the best way to find a solution, be the first one to talk about it. Discuss that I'm doing this wrong. Be truthful to yourself as well. Don't keep silent on your own issue too, because if you keep quiet on your own issue, you're encouraging that issue to grow. And then when it grows to something that is so big, then it will cause your problem in your future, in your relationship, in development with others. So this is not just one-sided, that we're keeping quiet just on what others are doing, but we must not keep quiet on what we are doing as individuals, because I think that a lot of the time, whenever we're talking about a behavior, we look upon other people that are doing this behavior, but we should also look upon ourselves as as a person that is behaving in this manner. So the first thing is that keeping quiet in the home is destroying. It goes out to destroy the church, goes out to destroy the nations, goes out to destroy the countries. It's not everything starts from the home. We are the nation. We are the individual in the nation. We're not. The nation is not just on its own without people. We are the people in the nation. So whatever behavior, whatever we see that the governments are doing or anybody else is doing is because it started from us. It started from the home, and we can do something about it. I really love the bold statement that Dr. Sandey made that we can stop it. We can stop it. We can eradicate this silence and this abuse and this evil that is going on if we speak. He said we can eradicate 90%, even though the ones that are reported are only the reported rapes and other issues in the home are only a minute percentage. We can still eradicate everything. We can. There will be no more abuses, no more silence. There will be no more evil if we don't keep silent. So it's really time for us to now start speaking. And the other thing I want to mention is that in terms of relationship is that you're having a bad relationship that is very clear to other people. I'm talking from a female point of view. Everybody can see that this relationship is bad, it's not good, and you're going around, you can't see it, and but you can't see it, but you're going around telling young girls and other people that marriage is good, that marriage should be is ordained by God, when clearly your relationship
marriage is ordained from God.
Yes, it's ordained from God, but you're not a good example to be giving that. Telling everybody that you should go into marriage when you are showing bad example of that. If something like marriage, you truly believe that it was ordained from God, you shouldn't be enduring in silence. You should know that you should do it clearly. You don't help God to make God marriage good by you enduring and keeping silent. You should do the right thing in the marriage and also allow the right things in the marriage. It's not right that because you're propagating people to dislike marriage when in yours it's not good, and you're telling others can see it. They're seeing all the problems and all the silence that you're keeping, and you're going around telling others that it's great, it's good. You're making God's work look bad. So please, for those that are really good at doing that, especially in the church, please stop. Don't keep quiet on matters, on the issues that we should speak about. Tell the truth. Let the truth set you free. Don't hate the sinner, but hate the sin. So this is about you identifying that this is a problem, this is an issue, and we want to deal with this issue. You don't deal with issues by keeping quiet and saying nothing. You deal with issues by speaking about the issue and letting the person know that this is wrong, or you actually speak by you not allowing it, removing yourself from the situation. If you're not somebody that talks, because sometimes we think that silence or not being silent is about speaking. It's not just about speaking alone. It's about you taking action. Your action, it means that you're not silent. So if somebody is doing something to you and you don't even want to talk, like verbally speak, but remove yourself from the situation, that is not being silent enough. So there's verbal and non-verbal silence. So you know that you can speak by you just walking away, removing yourself. If you have to go away from that situation for a long time, then do that. But don't stay in it and start telling other people that it's good to have marriage and focus on just one thing and not be holistic in everything that is related to the relationship. So you've heard it all. I don't really want to repeat what Dr. Sandey is saying because it's so clear, so simple. Even a child or somebody that doesn't even believe, hearing this, they have clear, they would understand. So I don't want to repeat.
To share.
Yes.
And to join the band.
Yes. Dr. Sandey is just reminding me that I should tell you to share. So guys, please share this. And also don't just share, copy the link and send it to somebody else, because somebody will benefit from this. The people that probably are not on Facebook right now, they don't usually go on Facebook, but if you copy this link and send it to them, they'll be able to benefit from this, because this is not just for one set of group of people. It's for everybody. It's for even the children in the house. If the parents are not going to listen to this, even the children can listen to this, because they can hear this, they can have the understanding. God will give them clarity to know that they shouldn't keep quiet too, because their parents, yes, they shouldn't keep quiet. And this is an opportunity also for you to join the movement and see the reason, to see the value in the movement. The movement is the movement against deception, a movement against deception in the church. We started a movement, and it's called movement against deception in the church. So this is part of this teaching and previous teaching, which started on the prostitution of tithes and offering. And it's about the silence that we have kept for so long of all the atrocities in the church, in churches all around the world, not just in Africa, but in England. I'm from England, in other European countries, in America, the atrocities that are being committed in the name of God by leaders within the organization, within the church. We want this to stop. We want the truth to prevail. We want a new church. We want people to be liberated. So this movement was started by Dr. Sandey, and it's titled Movement Against Deception in the Church. There's a page, you can like the page. It's on Facebook, and there's a group. This group is important to join the group because most of the information or the last meeting we had was within the group, because it's a closed group. So join both the page and also join the group. And also there's a form. The form, I will ping it on now on Dr. Sandey's page and on the movement page. Complete the form so that we can have your contact details and especially your emails. We have a lot of work to do.
This weekend, we need to invite you.
Yes, we have a lot of work to do, and we have we send out information, we send out communication. For example, we've already we had the first meeting last Friday. We had from midnight here in Ukraine until 4 a.m. in the morning. You can see how important it is. Some of the information that was shared within that meeting, you will not believe it. So if you haven't joined, first of all, fill the form so that we will have your contact details. We have another meeting that is set for Friday.
Maybe this weekend.
Yes, I said that. It's either going to be 11 p.m. this Friday evening, which is the 30th of June, or it would be on Saturday, 2 p.m. On Saturday. So we're planning either both.
Just go and fill the form.
Okay. Dr. Sandey is saying that you should just go and fill the form. It's important to fill the form because if you fill, it makes sense. If you fill the form, we have your details, so we can send you exactly when it is, and we can send you the ping you need to dial in or how you need to get in touch. So the first thing is to fill the form, okay, and join the movement. We need to stop this. The deception that we've lived with in our homes, we need to stop it in the church so that we can propagate it all throughout our whole lives, not just in the church, but in life and in the nation as a whole, in countries and nations and continents. We need the truth to prevail. So thank you very much. Who's coming next?
Yes, let me just put clarity there. We started a movement, and we shouldn't. You shouldn't ever assume that people know. Okay. We have to start afresh, as if you never said it before. Okay. We started a movement, and the movement is called Movement Against Deception in the Church. Movement Against Deception in the Church. So this movement, we need you to go register if you want to participate in it, and if you want to stop the deception, you want to help end all kind of atrocities going on in the body of Christ these days. You want to join the group? You go. My wife is going to pin it right now. Follow that link. Go and fill it out. Go and fill the form out, and then we will invite you to the meeting. Now, I have a question to all of you. When will you like us to have the meeting? When is it better for you time-wise? Should we do it 11, because it's going to be a long meeting, minimum 4 hours meeting. So we could do it immediately after the evening service on Friday, which is going to be like 11 o'clock our time here, or 12 o'clock our time, which is like 10 o'clock your time, or 9 o'clock your time in England and Nigeria, and in the UK that might be, no, in America that could be 4 or 5 o'clock in America, Eastern time. So is it better to do it in the evening like that? Our time is evening. Or it's better to do it during the day on Saturday? Because in our place, it will mean at night. The last time we did it, we ended at 4 o'clock in the morning, our Ukraine time. So she would just do it. Is it better to just do it during the day on Saturday? Which would mean 10 o'clock, which would mean 12 noon Nigerian time and 12 noon British time. And 7 p.m. In Eastern time in America. So is it better Saturday in the day, or is better deep in the night on Friday night? So you people, I want you people to say something. Please go ahead and write something about that so that we could decide. Can we do 7 p.m. on Friday? You cannot do 7 p.m. on Flora. Are you not on? That is our program now. I'm coming on Friday. We will not replace our daily broadcast. How can you suggest 7 p.m. when that is a British time, when that is the time of the daily broadcast? I didn't give you that option. Okay, 12 British time, Saturday or Friday, 10 British time or 9 British time. Okay, some are saying during the day, Saturday, some are saying Fridays. Anyway, let everybody write down their opinion. We are going to count. Before I come back, meanwhile, while you are writing it, I'm going to call, let's make ladies first. I'm going to call Caroline to speak first, then we'll call Victor after that. But you people go ahead and tell me Friday night or Saturday during the day. Everybody write your time. While you are writing it, we are going to count which one takes the most votes is what we will do. Okay, Caroline, please come. I didn't say 2 p.m. British time because the reason I didn't say 2 p.m. British time is because 2 p.m. British time will mean 4 p.m. here. And that will not be enough time before my evening broadcast again. So there is a reason why I said 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Ukraine time, which is 12 noon British time, not later than that. It is either 12 noon British time or Nigerian time Saturday or Friday. Friday, earliest it will be 11 p.m. here, which is 9 p.m. British time. So tell me Friday night or Saturday in the afternoon. You have to write your opinion, because if you don't write it, you will just count the ones who write it, who wrote their own. So the majority will carry the vote. Caroline, here you go.
Hello, everyone. So Milo basically took most of what I was going to say. I think she's stolen some of my wisdom. So, you know, we've been hanging out together too much. So, but I wanted to tell you a little story about myself. When I was young, I used to be called a smart mouth, a smarty pants. And I was a mean child, okay? Because when I would be smart, I would tell the truth about your life, okay? So that was the painful thing with adults with me, is that I will tell you the truth about yourself. And I got beat for that, and I got my punishment for that. But when I got older and I started to develop a close relationship with God, He showed me that that actually was a skill. It just wasn't being used properly. It was a skill, because what He said is, on the hearts of men, I've written the law. So when you point it out, you're actually bringing forth what they already know. But if you wait, if you leave it silent, as Pastor has been saying, what you do is you give way for them to justify. You give them leeway for, what do they call it, the crows of the air to steal from them. The opportunity to learn from a situation. And it was so true, because as I got older, I would say the truth to people, obviously now in love. And it turns out that if I had not said something, that these men or women who I would talk to would never have stopped to really evaluate themselves, to really start to ask themselves questions. Why am I acting this way? Why am I doing this? And thank God I was a smart mouth when I was younger, because today it doesn't matter what age you are. If I see something wrong that you're doing something wrong, that's damaging yourself, I have no fear in telling you exactly how. And now I know how to do it in love. And what I've realized is that it's helped so many people to really see themselves in their true light. Because so many people don't understand what is holding them back. Why is it that whenever I get to this point, I always step on or shoot myself in the foot? And it takes someone to come by their side and say, hey, this is your reflection. This is who you are. This is the truth. Now that you see your reflection, memorize it and improve upon it. And that's what you're doing for people. You are not shaming people. You're not bringing them out to be humiliated. But what you are doing is actually allowing them the opportunity to memorize who they are so that they can improve on it. If you keep silent, what will happen is that they will go back and try to justify, because what happens is people know when they've done wrong. People know when they have, missed the mark. They know. It's written on their heart. And to get rid of that feeling, they will do one of two things. They will either be honest with themselves, or more likely, what they will do is justify things. And the next time that they do whatever they did that was wrong, it will be worse because they justified the last time. But if you point it out, if you stop it right there and you see it and you say it, that was wrong, they too will be more likely to choose to look at themselves plainly, in plain sight, and they'll be more apt to start working on themselves, to start recognizing their wrong behavior. But if you keep silent, things could be worse the next time. So that's my encouragement today, is that maybe you were a smart mouth like me. Start to learn how to use that to not only your own advantage, but the advantage of the people around you, no matter their age. If you're the kid in the situation, honestly, I've been the child in many situations, but I found that it doesn't matter. When you are speaking truth, when God has given you truth to speak, your age doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So just when you see truth, when you see, the honest truth before you speak it out, that's all you have to do. You don't have to beat someone over the head. Just tell them exactly the situation.
Yep.
And they will know. It's written on their heart. You're only pointing it out. So that's my encouragement. Victor, probably.
Wow. So after all these people are spoken, one begins to wonder what is left to say.
The culture of silence, the culture of evil.
Yeah, but so that we don't become a victim of the same topic we are talking about, who would share the little or big opinion that it may be today. I believe Pastor must have touched on it extensively, but I also we still want to go back to the etiology, the root cause of silence. And I think it comes from the place of building of the ego and the id, or ID as you may know it, of every child. And today Pastor was talking mainly on family. So you realize that family is that social unit where identity usually are formed. It is that place where you begin, if the parents, if all they tell the children are you're dumb, you're stupid, the child begins to feel stupid and dumb. It is that place where if they are told that their views don't matter, they want to share an opinion, and all the parents can say is keep short, which I'm talking, you are talking, which is like the norm in an average African setting. You find out that most African children, or let me use the word Nigerian because that's the settings I grew up in, can hardly share their opinion. Their opinion is not welcome. The last time they tried to say something, they were met with shouts of keep quiet, you don't talk where elders talk. As a matter of fact, it is the mindset of an average Yoruba person that wherever two elders are talking, you cannot have an opinion as a child. You are not allowed. It is seen as disrespect. It is seen as not valuing the elders that are talking, where in fact the child there may be the one with the answer. And so these settings have become a kind of model with which the generation before, this generation that is being modeled or being trained, build the next generation. So the fathers before told their children off while they wanted to share an opinion, and so the the generation now thinks that is the right way to raise up a child, and so they also tell their words off now. And probably if the chain is not broken, the same trend will continue. So the families have not been building personalities. Also, let us go back into what is the real reason why families actually give birth. I've been opportuned to look into one of Pastor Sandei's works, and that one was Who Will Come to Your Funeral? Yeah. And who Will Come to Your Funeral really shows you, and the book is not out, so I'm giving you the advert here. So the time they release the advert, make sure you are the first to get it. Really shows you that there's a system that the children, that parents are giving birth to. Pastor calls it the spoke. You know, the way becoming spoke in the wheel. The spoke. It's not really important, but well, it's there. So that's why parents hardly give birth to children now. They give birth to doctors, they give birth to lawyers, they give birth to titles. I mean, what are you having? A boy, you can say, I'm giving birth to a doctor. So we are giving birth to people who will feel the system, not necessarily people who are going to become personalities. So we have never trained up our children to become personalities.
We are training biomasses.
Yes, sir. That's the right word. We are training biomasses. We are training somebody who will go into the system and just take whatever life offers. And so we start training them like that by telling them to accept whatever we offer at home, even when it is antithetical or it is against the ideals of that same child. So we've told them that they cannot choose what they want. We've told them that they cannot have options, that they must just take whatever it is that they are being served. You know, for example, maybe in the house, this child does not like this particular type of food. He just doesn't like it, but he cannot voice out. So we've trained them so much that they now see silence as a virtue. Yes, as a virtue. Because now, to be the good boy at home, I must keep quiet about the particular thing I don't like. Because if I am to talk about it, I am going to be the bad person. Thank God for rebels like us. And until we met Pastor Sandei, we now knew, okay, we were actually normal. We never used to align with the status quo. So it endorses the name stubborn. Yeah, they call us stubborn, like Kongba, or that's how they say it, you know, the year. So, and that was because probably I saw a model in my own father, and I think it was in 2010, I was opportunity to enter the same bus traveling from Abuja with the elder sister of my state governor then, and she happened to be a teacher in the School of Nursing my dad attended while he was still a student then, and family ties, and my dad was a politician much later. And she attested to the fact that if there were 20 of them, I mean colleagues meant to do something, my dad would stand firmly with his belief after analyzing, and he chooses to go his way even if 19 are going this way. And she said most times the 19 often come back to join him. So I was lucky enough, although he didn't live quite long, to have a model in that man. But when I got to the society, it was different. It was different. People believe that once there is an hierarchy, you cannot have an opinion as long as the person who is regarded as being at the top of that hierarchy has spoken. even if it's not in line with your most dominant thought or wherever you're going to. So the biomasses that families are producing, I think is the etiology to this. So if we can from the level of families begin to raise children that are going to be personalities, begin to tell these children that your thoughts matter, your ideas matter. We want to hear what you think. I think it will do us a lot of good. And the bane of this again is that many times we've not really been able to hear what these children think and what they have to say, and we've not really been able to help them shape how they should think and how they should reason, and we've not been able to help them get better as a people. And so the whole place is messed up now because we never listen to them when we should have. And there's a Yoruba adage that says "Ati kekere ni won tin teka roko, to ba dagba tan ebo ni o ma gba." Or better way to say it in English is you fold the fish while it's still wet. When you smoke the fish, you can't bend it again. So because we've not really listened to them, we've not really made them understand that their opinions matter, we've not even been able to build the right values in them. And I also think another issue is the misconception that silence is humility. We live in a generation where if you don't speak, you are not speaking, you are the very humble one. My brother Anu told me yesterday that he spoke about, he gave an analogy of myself and him, and we have the same mindset, the same reaction to certain issues, but I just happen to be the one to speak, and then he used to be the one silent, and so people generally think, oh, Anu is the humble one, Victor is the proud one. But the truth again is silence really humility? Is humility not the acceptance of one's own self and acting in accordance with who you are? Is humility not really vibrating in the frequency of yourself in relation to your environment? Is humility really not accepting yourself and also living with that self that has been accepted in an environment that you've been placed in? Is humility really not self-expression? Is humility really not being true to oneself? But we think, we've been taught, we've been conditioned that when you keep silent, you are humble. But when you are the one who can express yourself, you are proud. This concept must be rooted out. It really must be rooted out. And I think the people, or where the embers of that are being found, those who find the embers of this misconception are even in the church. Are even in the church. Because it is in the church that you really cannot have an opinion. When the pastor has said it, that is all. I once was in a church where when things go wrong, people used to know, they knew how to backbite the pastor. But I was the one who would come to the meeting and raise the issues. So I was the bad person, they were the good people. And I was looking at who is deceiving who. At the end of the day, posterity always judge, but things would have, got worse than it should have if actually there was somebody who understood that silence is not humility and voicing out is not pride. It is just an acceptance of who you are and the role you are to play in an environment. What would your role be if you are the only one who can see this and you kept quiet? Don't assume that the next person understands or what is happening. It's just possible that he doesn't even have a clue. You perhaps are the only one who understands the concept of everything happening in that environment. And if you don't talk, it may lead to the suffering of a whole generation. I'm not really sure with my fact, but I'll just put it out there and it can be confirmed. But I am guessing one of the reasons why Israelites spent much time in the wilderness was because the father-in-law of Moses did not talk on time, did not give the real thing on time. Because until his advice of sharing them into different divisions and appointing heads, they were still moving around the same mountain. But when he did that, leadership was easy even for Moses. So I think that silence and humility are not on the same level. And don't ever think that you talk too much because you raise pertinent issues. It will never be that you talk too much if the issues that you raise are very pertinent and important. Because talking too much is not in the quantity of speech. Many of us are online, we listen 4 hours to one person because of the quality of what they have to offer. And yet somebody wants to speak to us for 5 minutes and we cannot afford to spend that time with such a person. Why? Because we have considered the quality of their speech. So the same thing with you. You will never talk too much if what you have to say is addressing the important need of your society. So don't ever keep quiet because somebody would have an opinion of how often or how frequent you talk. You just want to be sure of the quality of your speech. So silence is an evil that we need to root out, and I think we need to start from the home by encouraging our children to speak to us, to be more communicating, and we also giving them and we also giving them the listening ear. Yes. So if we do more of listening to our children and encouraging them to talk, not from the judgmental angle, because if we give them the judgmental attitude, they will not come to speak the next time, and you really would not know what is going on with them, and you will not be able to correct anything, and they also will develop that attitude of crawling back to their shell when real issues matter. And the truth is that many times those who are silent carry the words that are a solution. Pastor has said yesterday, and I will quote again today, as he quoted, I think that should be Albert Einstein, that the only thing needed for evil to triumph is when good men do nothing.
Desmond Burke.
That's Desmond Burke. Okay. That the only thing that is needed for evil to triumph is when good men do nothing. But don't forget again that we have a lot of good people who have been trained never to speak. The mind your business attitude. But the question is again, what is your business? A lot of us think our business are things that happen within our home. But we've forgotten that even the society is our business because we're a part of it. The church is our business because we're a part of it. Everything that vibrates towards your existence or that your existence vibrates towards is your business. And you need to speak where it does matter. Because there will never be a time that your voice will not count. All right, thank you so much. I guess we'll see another time. Thank you so much, Pastor. Yeah.
Just one more thing, because I wanted to say this and I never had the opportunity. I think this is a perfect time to also ask that older men and women who have had their families, who have had their husbands and their wives and their children. Whether you had a great experience or a bad experience, I think that it's necessary for you to share that with the younger generation. Because I found that whenever a young girl like me goes to an older woman and asks her about marriage, what she gets is the prescribed answer. What she gets is what's appropriate. What she gets is what the husband will approve of. But I had the opportunity of sitting with my mom and listening to a woman who was completely honest and candid about both the good and the bad in her relationship, where she went wrong, where he went wrong. She laid out everything about her relationship, and I can't tell you how healing that was. Not only for her, but for me, to be able to hear the truth about a relationship. I think Maiwa talked on it a little bit, about how is it possible that so many people will suggest to you get married and have kids, and they themselves are not completely satisfied with the children that they that they sent out into the world, and they're not really happy about the way their marriage happened, but they'll still say, yeah, you should get married, you should get a husband, you should get children. And they won't sit down with you and tell you their faults. They won't sit down with you and tell you where they went wrong, where they could have done better, because somehow that's taboo, somehow that's wrong, somehow that's bad, somehow that's disrespectful to the family or to their husband. But you will soon be gone, you know, and all that will be left of you is what you pass on to the next generation. If all you passed on to the next generation was a perfect picture that can never be attained, and you know it, and you kept that truth from them, then what really have you passed on? You've passed on a lie that will perpetuate itself. And we cannot continue to do that. I think that's what this platform is for, is to, you know, bring all this dirt up to the surface so we can clear it away. And I would say that one of the biggest things that is so hard for a young person to constantly be worried about certain parts of their future and not to have anybody to be honest with them. So please, if you have gone through any kind of experience, bad or good, be honest about all of it. Tell somebody, someone younger than you, who's going to be passing on that information to other people. You know, that can heal so many lives just by being honest. Prevent a lot of things. There was so many things I learned in this conversation with this woman who just sat down with me and my mother and just was candid with us. So many things that I have never heard any other woman say. Every other woman would say, oh yeah, we had our issues, but you know, God is faithful. And that's it. Yes, you had issues. So what were the issues? What happened? What could have you done? What you could have done better? Like where were the places that you went wrong? You know, how did you get there? What did you learn from that situation? You know, like we don't have class for that. There's nothing in school that teaches us that. No Bible school sits you down and says, hey, these are the common issues that happen in marriages and these are how they get there. Nobody does that. It's up to us to take our experiences, you know. I talk a lot about how I'm an actress. You know, that's what art and drama is. Art and drama is to expose humanity to itself and say, this is the truth of the situation. Don't be the same, or be the same. Be good like this, or be better than this. You know, and that's who we are to each other. That's who human beings are to each other. We have not been given a manual for life. We've been given one another. So let's take on our responsibility by sharing our experiences. So thank you.
Anybody want to say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Please, come on. We still have a woman's view here. This is Mommy of Anu. This is Anu's mother. Please have your seat, Mommy. Have your seat, Mommy.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be among you tonight, and I'm being blessed by what Daddy Sandei Adelaja.
No, Pastor Sandei.
What Pastor Sandei has been saying actually is a nice thing for someone to speak out. Silence is not too good. And why? By talking, you are giving some others to learn more from you.
Yes.
But by keeping it within you, you are doing a great harm.
Yep.
You know, while he was talking about raping, many have been involved, and which they kept silent. Even if you cannot say it to the whole world, but at least people around you, either in the church, in the neighborhood, people that likes to take after you, should be able, as he has rightly said, that don't say it involves you, but try and tell them that this and this, and you imagine how it happened to you. And by saying it out, either during youth week, either during family setup, maybe family issues, try and say it so to prevent others from being involved in such things.
Yeah.
And even the young ones, tell them how they can easily prevent themselves from being involved in such a situation. So being silent is not all that good. Even it is good, because Bible says when you know good thing and you refuse to do it,
right,
it is a sin. And again, in marriage, I love that my sister that has just spoken, many people choose wrongly, especially for our youth. But if many people can come out and be able to say, in my choice of getting married, I went into a mistake of this or that, that one will be a lesson for others that are coming behind. That's to say, if this thing has happened, yes, it must not happen to me. Yeah. But by keeping silence and telling them that all is good, and you know that you have really made a mistake, in fact, God will not be pleased with you if you are doing that. So I'm being blessed tonight, and I know that before, I know that I'm still going to get more and more. I bless the name of God for as many that has involved in this talk.
I know. Will you come and compliment your mom?
Yeah. Hello everyone. Well, that's my mom right there. She's been with us in Ukraine, and she came to celebrate with me in my graduation ceremony on Friday, and I'm so happy to have her around, and I'm so happy that she also came out to talk. Yeah, yesterday night we had actually, it was in the evening, she was telling me her own experience of marriage. And she was telling me, and that's why I'm here to just concur what she said. And she was telling me how the whole process was for her, and how she was able to make her choice, what she did, the mistakes that some men made. And she was really very, very open with me. And that is something I also, when she was telling me all of that, and I was just going through it, and then just realizing the truth that she was saying, and coupled with what Dr. Sandey was talking about today, why people who have gone through certain experiences should not allow it waste. Why? Because I believe there are many people who have gone through a lot of experiences that should be converted in such a way that the people who are just coming could learn from it, and they could actually use those experiences to make their own choices even better. And I strongly believe that this is opening up and sharing your experience would help a whole lot of people. It would help make people make the right decisions. It will help them also in making right choices, so they don't repeat the same cycle of mistake that you have made. And I'm so happy to hear this, and coupled with the fact that my mom is here too, and she's hearing this firsthand, and then we'll be able to also practice this in our house, and I'm excited, and thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So thank you, everybody. I think we had a nice meeting today, and I'm definitely going to continue tomorrow. But you know, we're still trying to find out what day to do our meeting. But go ahead and fill the form. Join the movement against deception in the church, and let's join the movement. Go and fill the form, and we expect to receive a letter from us or from one of the committee members. All right. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye.